This podcast is supported by patrons. You can find a full list of them in the description of this episode. Hello, listeners of Good Morning BSS podcast. This is Wiktor, Doktor, and today I am connecting again with Ukraine. Today we go to Kiev, and my special guest is Oleksandr Storokha. Hi, Oleksandr, how are you?
Hello, Victor. I'm doing great. And how are you?
I'm so far so good. So it's a nice, very nice day in Warsaw, actually, very sunny. Is it the same in Kiev?
Oh, yeah. I would say even this summer is so hot. So like plus 30, like 33 or 34. So
Okay, so
and
you won. We've got a little bit less degrees in here. Anyway, as this is a set of the podcasts where we are talking about the Ukrainian IT industry, and always we start with the subjective view of how the Ukrainian IT industry in general is now looking like. So, what's your opinion?
Well, I would say, let's get back a little bit to the history of IT industry itself, because definitely before 2022, it was just like a driven force, third driven force industry in the country overall. So first one was definitely just give me a moment. Agro sector was the second, and metallurgy was the first one, and IT was a driven force, so I would say a rising driven force. We were growing rapidly, and from year to year, there was some multiplier in the headcount, in income was generated by the industry overall. I know that the situation changed a bit comparing to 2021 to 2022, and it definitely changed compared to 2023. We're still waiting for numbers from Ministry of Economy to be calculated and published about the export value and so on and so forth. Let's hope we're still in good shape and still producing and stimulating our economy.
Yeah, we can see that the Ukrainian IT industry is looking very strong comparing to other countries across the world. We can also see a big presence of Ukrainian IT companies in Poland. So where I am based in here, there are plenty of Ukrainian companies which are providing excellent IT solutions and services from some of the Polish cities. But let's take a look on your company, on the company Itera, where you are based now. And if you could just give us a view of how did it start? So when the Itera was established, and what are you doing on everyday basis?
Oh well, overall origins of Itera starts in previous century because we originally started in, if not mistaken, 1989 in Oslo. It was founded by our CEO and founder of Arnem Jos, and since that we had very huge, I would say, very big history, and we have a heritage based on that. So our company itself is listed on Oslo Stock Exchange, which means that we are very transparent. We are publishing all the reports, and if in just give me a second, 13 years ago, if not mistaken, 13 or 14, I don't remember exactly, I need to double check it. Yeah, the branch in Ukraine was established in Kiev itself. Since that we have grown from zero to almost 300 people. So I would say, yeah, we were growing by 2022. Since that, not so much growth, because the primary focus was changed to stabilizing the economy of the branch, I would say. So taking care of people, we were investing a huge amount of money into security, relocation, and other things, because of Russian in full-scale invasion. And recently we start. I see that some customers they start working into Ukraine and start establishing some businesses. So some of them doing that because of the social and corporate responsibility. They want to give something, not just help people, just giving some money, but they want to give a work placement, which I believe like they're doing extremely right choice by doing that because they have relatively well price and high quality deliverables. So I believe that's something how we live right now. So I would say it's slightly changed from second half of 2022 to from stabilize or fall to like stabilize and growth.
You mentioned 300 people. This is 300 only in Ukraine.
Well, I would say 270-ish in Ukraine and around 30-ish in Poland because we have office established in Krakow for 8 months. But our unit is Ukraine and Poland itself. And in Ukraine, we do have two offices, one established in Lviv and another one, I would say, is a bigger one, the main one in Kiev.
Yeah, so this is quite typical now for the Ukrainian IT companies that they are based in few cities around Ukraine and also having a presence abroad, for example, in Poland or in Bulgaria or Romania. So you have chosen Krakow, which is quite popular for the foreign investors, and this is very IT oriented city in Poland. Let's focus on this. What you do? What's the scope of the services which your company does?
We are focusing right, mostly on fintech. Definitely it's bread and butter of any outsourcing company, I would say, or like probably not any, but most of outsourcing company. Because second one is fintech. Yeah, first one fintech. Second, I would say health tech, because we do have some project with health company, and I would say the third group is everything the rest. It's something like we have project with logistic company, with the fishery, and even IoT and data science or something like that. But like I would say two of them, they're primary one.
Okay, and your main, let's say, clients' destinations are Europe, States, Scandinavia. Where do you provide your services to?
Well, given to the, I would say, circumstances of company origin, I would say we are 80%, I would say, or even 90% of project delivered from Ukraine. They are delivered towards the Nordic market. So on the Nordic market, I mean Iceland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland.
Even Iceland.
Even, yeah, and I would say we were quite impressed how Iceland is performing. We were lucky to hire, we were lucky to establish office there and to find people who were, I would say, eager to deliver a result, and in every business of like if you have like the people on proper places, they will skyrocket you, and that's something we experienced there as well.
Yeah, Iceland is not too often mentioned when it comes to this kind of business relations. So that's why I have even put now down the note. Usually, when talking about the Nordic countries, this is Norway and Sweden, which are the two, let's say, biggest, let's say, services markets. And now here, Iceland included.
Yeah, and I would say Iceland is relatively small. It's like 300,000 citizens live there only. Because in Kiev we have like one district, Living district, which is with a headcount of 800,000. And when our like Icelandic I would say employees they were visiting us here in Ukraine before the war, full scale war. So they were like impressed with the scale and all the things, and we were saying, yeah, that's the truth. But at the same time, making business with Iceland, I would say they're very open for experiments. They were very agile, and they, I would even call them open-minded. That's something we like in cooperation with them. Nevertheless, I believe it's a lot of potential there. For us as well.
You mentioned that the company originally was created in Oslo, in Norway. Does it mean that the operation or part of your company is still present in Norway, or everything is rather moved to Kiev, Lviv, and Krakow, and the services are being provided from here?
I would say, yeah, like giving back to the structure of our company, I would say is that the overall headcount of the company at 800 employees, and overall it's divided into two huge pieces. One of them we called onshore, and the second one is HBU, like hybrid business unit, or like offshore. Hybrid business unit consists of several locations. Ukraine, then second biggest one we have delivery in Slovakia, so in Bratislava. Then we have two delivery offices which were recently opened. It's Czechia, Czech Republic, and in Brno, and in Krakow in Poland. Also, we have some representative offices in Iceland, and some Swedish offices, so where most of the sales or like workforce is sitting. But Kiev is the biggest one, and I would say hybrid is around 400 FTEs, something like that. Almost 50-50. And in Norway, we do have a lot of engineers as well.
So it looks like the CE region is like a delivery part of your organization. So the services are being provided from here, but those which are in the Nordics, for example, they are rather the representation and the selling units.
Well, not exactly. I would say that in Nordic markets they have also a lot of engineers, and for Nordic people, and for not only Nordic but like for some project, it's crucially important to have a person on site. I would say vendor representative on site, so he can or she can communicate well with her team, like provide consultation and other stuff. That's exactly the way of our business. I would say it's a model for our business. So we call such teams blended teams. So when we show who is going to work exactly on the project, who is going to be sitting on site, who is going to be sitting off site, and how people actually cooperate. So we have very well established frameworks for that, like delivery, quality, and let's say managed service and other frameworks. So everyone is aware of what to expect on what kind of stage of the project.
Few times already you mentioned hybrid. So the hybrid work since the pandemics is very popular across the world, especially in the IT industry as well. How popular hybrid type of work is in your company?
Well, it's a primary one, While let's get back. Let's make one step back. When you say a hybrid, what do you mean under that? Like it's like blended teams, or you mean hybrid means from the office, from the home, or like what kind of?
Very good question. My understanding of hybrid is that this is a blended model of working from home and from the office. But to be honest, majority from home and office is like coming from time to time.
Right now we focus. Before the COVID, we were working pure from the office. From home, it was mostly like an exceptions, or like an exception. Even it was granted only for one or two people whom I know, and I'm in the company already for almost 8 years. So so like quite experienced with that. And right now, over the war and here in Ukraine, it was pure, let's say, from home, and over the pandemic time, it was pure from home. But what do we have right now? We launched some few surveys within the employees, and asking them about their opinion on how do they feel working from home, like to be distant, and we see that the number, I would say, or percentage of those who willing to come to the office is increasing. A second chunk of people who says who say they want to not want to go to the office on permanent basis, like 1 or 2 times per week, but at least to have some kind of gatherings with the team once per month, so that would be good for them. And so that's what we were focusing right now. Definitely, it's still a risk of missile strikes here in Ukraine, so we're trying to take care of that as well. And even now, once people want to come to the office, we always say them, if the air raids are on, you need to stand up and move to the shelter. And it's like recent trend dictated by the environment we are living, saying that, like, every working place should have some kind of bomb shelter, because once again, people's safety prevail and everything else the rest.
Yeah, sure. This is very understandable. The IT industry is year by year showing that more women are working in the IT companies. How is it in Itera? Are many women working in your company?
Oh, well, I will give you some historical things here. When I was studying Kyiv Polytechnic Institute, we had, I would say, our year students, we had 120 students, and only 3 or 4 were females. Right now, I see the switch in, I would say, different. I see the difference in this number, because once again, we are tutoring, given or used to give a lecture with some of our university. So we're trying to teach students a modern way of technology, like from people who are practicing them, like, to share some innovations approach and so on and so forth, and to learn and to teach them. I would say some new frameworks, and I see that the percentage of females in those groups is extremely growing. So from my time, when it was less than 5%, so right now it's almost 50. And we had the internship program for students, and I was in charge of that for 5 or 6 years. And I would say that I hired, I would say, if not mistaken, 7 interns, and only one of them was male. Oh, yeah. So and we give the same task to everyone who willing to, let's say, participate into internship. We evaluating them, like, even blinded sometimes, so just looking through the code, then like asking for comments and putting grades, and like really ladies doing extremely great, like, and we're talking about engineers. And one of my first interns, she growing company for within 4.5 years, from intern to senior developer. And based on our approach, how we evaluate people, because we evaluate them through European competence framework, she was extremely well in that. And given back to your question, in terms of I would say balance females and males in our company, I would say 60 to 40 or something like that. So, like, and still major part is males, but we are not, we do not do anything intentionally just to grow that number. We just, like, give equal opportunities, and trying to be fair in our feedback and our selection methods. So how we do that, how we do another thing, and why we choosing one candidate over the another one, and so on.
Yeah, 60 to 40. It's very nice, to be honest. That when it comes
I,
to,
it's something 60ish, 40ish, some, so it's
yeah,
my
more or less.
classmate, yeah, more or less, like. But and I can tell you, it keep changing. So in a way that we want to reach a balance. So, like, overall, like, if you take all the offices, Probably the headcount will be a bit different. I don't know. But once again, maybe 30, 70-ish. I don't know, like somewhere there, like, but wow, quite a big chunk of, I would say, ladies is working in our company, and we are very proud of them.
You mentioned internships. Are they popular within your company?
Yes, we had. Right now, we don't, because once again, typically we were hiring people. We were investing a lot into them, and invest. I made the We made the calculation how much cost to train one intern, and that quite significant investment. Because like internship, it's something we pay scholarship for intern, and also we invest the time of manager for pre-selection period, for to train them, yeah, recruiters, HRs. You need to provide equipment, you need to buy licenses, you need to do everything just to make the environment equal. Because if you give something not the same as for senior developer, give something else to intern, so intern won't develop, won't develop themselves that fast as we want to. So we need to create equal environment, and having that, we able to perform internship once we have a business growing. Right now, we still, as I said, like before, we're on the phase when we're trying to stabilize, and we have a slight growth, very slight. Given samples, we I would say net growth of company in our branch in 2021 was like, oh, just give me a moment. Let me recall it. It was something 20-ish percentages or something like that. While right now, I would say it's almost stable. Almost stable.
Okay. The last but one question. When you are working for your clients, for example, from the Nordics region, is it like that such projects are being supported, for example, only from one side, like, for example, from the Kiev, or you are spreading this project around the other locations where you are based, like in Brno, Krakow, Lviv, and are you supporting the client from multiple locations?
Oh, well, I would say there is no one answer. It's something definitely when one side does not fit all, because where it's coming from customer requirements. For instance, if a customer wants us to like to have pure on-site development because of some restrictions, so we need to have people on site. If they open to have like. Let's say, they are more flexible in their like restrictions, or they ready to negotiate onshore to pour offshore. So they saying something like, okay, so we can go to either European Union, because once again, it's very important. Customer, we need to comply with customer restrictions, and sometimes we can talk about GDPR, or customer want to have more security, so they want to have not only European country but country which is in NATO. And because not every country in Europe is in NATO, so it's also restriction we should apply for, and so on and so forth. But typically, the most effective in terms of scale up, scale down, or like agility in terms of technology is when we have blended teams. For instance, we call it digital factory at scale, and definitely some location has some kind of expertise, and we're excellent in that. In our Ukrainian office and in Poland, we excellent. It's like historically based, I would say. We very well develop a .NET practice. While in Slovakia at the moment, we have very well developed Java-based practice. It doesn't mean that we won't take anything from Java to Ukraine if customers say, I want to have it pure Ukrainian development. But that means that in the case of another Java project, so highly possible it will go to Bratislava. And for instance, if customer want to have like 2 week start notice or 3 week start notice, so definitely it's something we need to work on and to understand how we can make this team up and running. And in Ukraine, we're very agile in that term. So I can tell you that our fastest staffing was like within 5 weeks from contract signed to team ready and go. And everyone was extremely, let's say, satisfied with that. Because once again, it's because of labor differences between European countries and Ukraine. You know, we still have this agility, and we still have this DIA city. You probably heard about that. Because last time I was in Poland, it was just like half year ago or something like that. I saw that you have Polish DIA, if not mistaken. It's called the same, no?
Mm.
Yeah, and it's a government project for which it's extremely supported by the government and it's promoting. Yeah, so
Okay, the last question. If somebody wanted to get more information about Itera, where this person should go?
well, first of thing is the person should go to our website itera.com. And we have everything there. Starting from annual reports, how we do operate, and going down to like how and what activities do we have, for employees and what do we do and so on. Uh, Another option is send us an email. Once again, everything can be found on our like main page, or just come to visit us in our office and say hello and have a coffee.
Having in mind that you have so many offices all around North and Central and Eastern Europe and even in Iceland, so that would be interesting to come and visit you directly in your office. Oleksandr, thank you very much. It was a nice talk about Itera, a company based in Nordics, but also in Ukraine and supporting clients on various fields of the technical and IT areas. Keeping fingers crossed for your growth and going from stability to the fastest growth of Itera business. Thank you for today.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you for all the best wishes.